Welcome to G1 Toys. Today we are reviewing a personal favorite of mine, and quite simply, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all wrapped into one succulent character. Today we gaze upon Spawn. This is a Series 1 version 2 release from 1994, and it comes in about 21 different versions. There are a few variations that stand out, such as the gold Spawn and the translucent green Spawn. A lot of these variants are package related and not figure related, so we get a lot of different stickers or packaging differences that change the version. So we're going to go ahead and show you this version up close. Alright guys, what we're going to do next is we're going to travel back to 1994 and see the packaging for Spawn back then. This is the Series 1 Spawn. They did throw a comic book in this action figures packaging, which I thought was such a good advertising ploy. Loved it. Great reason to buy the figure. This was made by Todd Toys. You can see some of the classic stickers on there that came with this version of Spawn. And you know, I must point out that the way they packaged Spawn was so genius back then. I love the fact that you can see him from the top, from the side, on both sides, and from the bottom. You can really see the detail on what's going on with this figure, even if you decide not to open it. So I really like the way that was done. And if we flip this around, we see that we have some instructions on the top for his cape and his weapons. Also, it has the pictures of the Series 1 figures, starting with Spawn on the left, Trimmer in the middle there, Medieval Spawn, Overkill, Violator, and then the Clown. There were some really cool variants for some of these figures as well, especially like the Violator variants. The red and black variants were pretty cool. The gold was not too bad either. Loved it all. Really cool stuff. Then there were some vehicles, the Spawnmobile, the Violator Monster Rig, and then the Spawn Alley. All these were fairly rare, and you hardly ever saw those. So I really think that people just loved the figures so much that they bought those mostly. Kind of put the other ones on the back burner, but you know, all in all, very cool series for this first Series 1. Thought I'd bring out some more notable versions of Spawn Series 1, and let's go ahead and start with version 17 over here. This was the worm Spawn for obvious reasons. He's got his mask off, some gnarly worms crawling out of his head there, and just the burnt face look going on. So that was a really cool variant of Spawn, I believe. You know, his sculpt was very similar, if not exactly the same as the original Spawn with this one. So the only change on that was the head, but even more notable was the blue suit variant version, and this was number 14. It was quite rare, and I'll tell you why. Let's take a look at this body real quick. Yeah, just got that blue hue all over him. You know, it's the same sculpt as well, except with the mask on. I do like the mask on just a little bit better. I'm a little bit biased to that. But basically, he was rare because he was a Diamond Comics retailer exclusive, and only about 7,000 of these were produced. It gets its rarity for the fact that it was given to comic shops who bought a case of Wildstorm Spawn cards, and when these cards proved to be weak in demand, less were ordered, which resulted in a figure that was harder to come by in retail markets. I have seen these figures go for around $100 or more. So pretty rare stuff gracing the camera's presence here. So let's turn our focus back to the regular black suit Spawn, where it all started. Before we get him unpackaged, we're going to brief you on a quick origin story of the original character in all his hellish glory. Al Simmons appears in Image Comics issue number 1 of Spawn. His profession puts him in a unique situation. What do you get when you cross a CIA agent and an assassin? Your answer is a great candidate for Hell's super soldier. Malebolgia, a top-ranking demon, saw potential in Al Simmons and recruited him to fight against Heaven by joining his army of Hellspawn. When Al refused to cooperate, he became an enemy to both realms and carved his own path. Caught in between heaven and hell, with little recollection of his past, he fights for the ones he does remember, his wife Wanda. Since Spawn is Hell's minion, he is damned with regeneration, super strength, shape-shifting, flight, endurance, teleportation, and mental control of his chains. His cape is a living entity that manifests his every need and protects him from those who dare oppose him. We have returned from Hades and unleashed the mighty Spawn. Malebolgia outdid himself this time. Let's go ahead and get his measurement. Looks like he comes in at right under 6 inches there in height. Fairly standard for that year. Pretty vintage figure here from 1994, folks. So let's go ahead and take a look at his articulation and sculpt. Also his paint apps as well in particular. I really appreciate it. So let's take a look at these. The head sculpt, very cool, very Spawn-esque. I love it. The white paint along with the green paint for the eyes really work well. The black in the background there just looks amazing as well. He does have articulation, 360 all the way around. No articulation, no pivot, no up or down movement. Just the 360 direction is all he'll get on that head articulation. Very basic here. Guys, we got some 360 arm rotation, but there's no bend in his elbow, no forearm rotation, no wrist rotation, and no finger articulation. So that is, you know, standard for this. I'm not gonna let that bring me down too much. This figure looks awesome. So his paint apps look amazing. The white, the red, and the black work very well. Everything is so uniform on the paint apps. I love the fact that they did the spikes in silver there too. Really makes those stand out and appear as awesomely cool as they possibly can. So right there is the pinnacle of the Spawn emblems, and that is the skull right on his belt there. Gotta love that. That is awesome, guys. These chains are rubber. You can pull these out and stick them in his hand, so there is some posability there with the chains. There's some more of the spikes there that have that awesome silver paint. Looks so good, guys. Really nice. He does not have any waist swivel, no ab crunch, no bend whatsoever in the waist. Again, very basic here. He's got some movement in his leg. He does go up quite far for that leg, so that's pretty impressive actually on that one. Moving down into his leg area, he does have a single jointed knee bend. He does have that awesome silver paint around the spikes there again. No calf rotation, no ankle articulation, no ankle pivot. So not very many poses other than just standing are you going to get from this Spawn. He does have some red paint right there on his leg, which looks pretty good as well. I like that. Still do like the silver paint better, but all in all, this figure in appearance is one of my favorites by far. On his feet, he does not have any pegs, but he stands up very nicely on his own. You don't really need those pegs to worry about getting in the way. So now let's get him geared up and take a look at him with his accessories. We are back with Spawn and his gear, and I must say, bravo, he looks fantastic. Everything about this figure just explodes in your eye, and I love it. Let's go ahead and take a little closer look at those accessories. He does have this board with a yellow spike in it. Not sure where they got that idea, but it's kind of cool. Looks like he just picked it up off the side of the road and he was ready to kick someone's ass, so that was pretty awesome. Turning our attention to his cape looks amazing and has this mold it's just kind of stuck in, but you know, you can't move it much. It's not too movable. You can't move it around. It is a little flimsy. So for the cape sculpt, I think it looks great, but the durability and construction was not that great. What holds this cape on is this little tab back here. Has a hole in the back of Spawn where you stick this tab and then it attaches to the cape as well. So that's kind of what holds that cape into place, if anything. And even then, it kind of gets loosened up and falls out of place. So not the best way to do his cape, but still does look quite amazing. He does have these little skulls with the chain that kind of hold that on him in case that tab breaks free, I guess. This little part comes out. There's a tab that fits into those. You can probably see those tabs right there. The tabs go into the red cape, and that thing comes off if you want it to. I don't know why you'd want it to have it come off. It looks amazing. It looks really good. So, you know, all in all for his accessories, I think he looks awesome. That's what they were really going for here. Not so sure about playability whatsoever, but his looks are a cut above all the rest. Guys, I love the fact that this is a G1 figure, and I'm also a huge sucker for the classic Spawn look, which this guy pulls off with the greatest of ease. So I wanted to let you know that in some parts of his grading, he will be high, and in other parts, he'll be low. However, despite these varying scores, in my opinion, he is a must-own for any die-hard Spawn collector. So let's go ahead and start with his appearance. And you know where I'm going with this. It's going to be a perfect 10. Considering Spawn's articulation, he has little to none. So, very standard for this year. You get that a lot. But, the reason you buy this figure is for the looks. So Spawn's grade in articulation is going to be a 4. And into Spawn's durability. As a figure alone, he is a very durable figure. Not much chance you're going to be breaking him with little to no articulation. So very durable in that respect. But his accessories, and I really want to zero in on the cape, are something that will probably break eventually. Even though he looks awesome, the cape is really his biggest downfall. So in durability, Spawn will get a 6. And on into collectability. Spawn is a Series 1 figure, as well as the classic Spawn. So he's going to get a great grade for his collectability at a 9. And from the depths of hell, we conjure Spawn's overall score of 7.25. This completes our quality review for the Series 1 Spawn. Our G1 lesson for the day is if you lose your wife to Satan, it was never meant to be. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe for the most lowdown, honest reviews around. Also, check us out on Instagram for awesome pictures of the toys you love best. When the forces of hell are being deployed, never forget to channel your inner toy. You look better as the clown.
And that can be arranged, Spawn.
Now you're just fat.
You know what? I am so sick of this crap. You always make fun of me for being fat. I don't like. I cannot fight you under these conditions.
Look at you now, you're